from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
She got hit hard, really hard, yeah. Car just smoked her.
Tough start to this year's marathon as a woman bicyclist is struck and injured by an SUV. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. The crash took place at the intersection of 19th Avenue North and University near the Fargo Dome just before 8.
The woman, who is from Perham, Minnesota, along with hundreds of other cyclists, were taking part in the opening event to this year's marathon. The route had racers heading south on University. There were volunteers at intersections along the way to help traffic cross. An eyewitness said that some drivers were edgy as they waited, and that might have led to this crash.
And then the red Trailblazer or whatever that is just went through, hits her side. She went flying. She was higher than the car was. She came up, hits the ground.
Emergency crews placed the woman in an ambulance, and she was later taken to a hospital. The extent of her injuries, along with her name, are not known.
The CDC reports that the rates of tuberculosis infections are rising for the first time in nearly 20 years, and the evidence points to people coming from overseas to the United States. Our own investigation has found that everyone, U.S.-born or foreign-born, who lives in a refugee resettlement area is at risk for contracting tuberculosis.
The Centers for Disease Control reports refugees are not required to be vaccinated before coming to the United States. Tuberculosis being brought by refugees to the U.S. is an issue the Minnesota Department of Health is working to fix. It's the leading cause of death from infectious disease worldwide.
And the most common risk factor being from a country where TB infection is widespread. Nearly a quarter of all TB cases in Minnesota last year were from people from Somalia. As our investigation progressed, we found that many people in Fargo don't actually know a whole lot about the disease.
Valley News Team's immigration and relocation reporter Bradford Eric has been looking into what this means for your health.
Documents obtained by the group Judicial Watch in April contained this email from the CDC. We might as well plan on many of these kids having TB. It's from a 2014 operation where top federal health officials were sent to the southern U.S. border to stem the tide of unaccompanied alien children crossing into the U.S. Tuberculosis is caused by bacteria that primarily affects the lungs and is then spread through the air. The Minnesota Refugee Health Quarterly from April of this year, page 3's headline, TB continues to affect refugee communities. There's even a pie chart breaking down all of Minnesota's 150 TB cases. Over a quarter were from Somalian refugees. Now to North Dakota, where there were 9 active cases in 2015, 6 of them here in Cass County. But there were 355 latent TBI cases reported. Latent TB, or LTB, it means you're infected with the TB bacteria, but your immune system is able to contain it. You show no signs of actually being sick. But according to the North Dakota Department of Health, if you get run down, get a severe cold, that bacteria could become active again, making you a threat to infect others.
I don't know if it's a big enough deal to panic, but maybe just some screening or maybe some precautionary measures.
Maybe we could set up some sort of vaccination right at the border, so if they want to come over, then we can vaccinate them, help them right off the bat,
The North Dakota Department of Health also says many cases go unreported. A CDC official said days ago that across the board, screening is not recommended for everyone coming to the U.S. Along with the CDC, an article in the New England Journal of Medicine says those who are screened overseas and who show abnormal results are forwarded to local public health departments, where the refugee is only encouraged to follow up. But over a quarter of those referred for follow-up just don't show up, and there's nothing requiring them to undergo treatment. I pressed the North Dakota Department of Health if the active and latent TB cases were from refugees. They replied that they, quote, don't have that information, but they track where the infected individual was born in an effort to prove that the majority of cases are from foreign-born individuals.
I think it's better to do a good screen, make sure everybody has that vaccination to spread that disease.
Charita Hetiarachi says he and his family had to undergo many vaccinations before coming to the United States years ago, but he wasn't sure about TB, and he was surprised when I told him about how deadly it is worldwide, describing the threat it poses to the Fargo community. I reached out to Lutheran Social Services of North Dakota, the resettlement agency running the operation in this state. I asked if TB is a threat to refugee populations and the general public, and if the Department of Health is targeting them for the job they're trying to do. They replied in part that, quote, "We know active TB condition is an inadmissible condition to enter the United States, and all of our refugees are properly screened prior to the admission. We do not see active TB as a health risk." LSS specifically singled out active TB in their response, despite the CD and state health agencies reporting latent TB as an area of concern. Does this mean you need to run out and get a TB test? Apparently one East Coast doctor thinks so, as one viewer told me their doctor insisted on a test since Fargo is a resettlement area. It probably wouldn't hurt, and the more informed you are about your own health is never a bad thing. Furthermore, this story has ignited much discussion on our social media sites. Many of those criticizing my reporting are not even from the viewing area and may or may not be affiliated with organizations pushing an agenda. Mike, Andrea.
Okay, thank you, Bradford. We've put links to information from the CDC, the North Dakota Department of Health, and other sources Bradford found for this story.
We've also linked back to the survey we commissioned in November to gauge your opinions of continued refugee settlement in the area. Just visit valleynewslive.com and click on this story.
The person of interest in a death investigation in South Fargo is in custody. Fargo police were called to the area of 15th Avenue and 34th Street South last night after a neighbor went to check on 40-year-old Corey Terlecki. Police say blood was found at the scene and they don't know how long she was deceased before her body was discovered. Police also say Landon Lawegi is now detained, and they're questioning him to determine whether or not he is a suspect. They say this does not appear to be a random act of violence, and that Landon, again, Lawegi, may have known Terlecki. The investigation is still ongoing. Stay with Valley News Live for the latest on this story.
Police in Grand Forks are asking for your help in identifying two persons of interest in a case involving property theft. It occurred on Tuesday, May 10th at Schrader Middle School. If you have any information about the gentleman in that picture, you are asked to contact police.
A man from Illinois made his first court appearance today after being arrested with $200,000 worth of methamphetamine in Wadena, Minnesota. This man, 27-year-old Michael Ginladen Ricks, was arrested in the case. The Wadena County Sheriff's Office says they received information from the BCA that a suspicious package was being mailed from Arizona to Wadena. The package contained approximately 4 pounds of meth. Ricks was arrested for first-degree possession of a controlled substance. He's currently held on $500,000 bail.
3 men in their 20s are facing federal charges following a traffic stop in South Fargo. Brandon Byer, Christian Harris, and Chase Fliginger were arrested for selling fentanyl. If convicted, they could spend 20 years in prison and have to pay a $1 million fine. A fourth arrest was also announced today. Tyrone Wilburn is accused of selling both heroin and fentanyl in Fargo.
Local law enforcement say they don't know how big of an impact these arrests will have on cleaning up the streets. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Nicole Johnson explains.
I don't know that we'll ever stop drug trafficking, but we're going to do our darndest to stop people going to the hospital and dying.
Metro law enforcement are trying a new approach to a problem that won't let up.
Make no mistake about it. If you sell substances that kill somebody or put somebody in the hospital, you are going to face federal prosecution and state prosecution.
While police have arrested multiple people for selling dangerous drugs, that doesn't mean the problem is coming to an end.
We don't know what we don't know. And all we could do is address it the best we can with the resources we can.
There's a lot of unknowns, but what they do know, there will be more arrests. The Fargo Police Department is moving 3 detectives to their narcotics unit to try and solve drug investigations.
We've had some overdoses in our community, and those overdoses have continued to happen.
An addiction so strong, people are trying to smuggle drugs into jail on a routine basis.
We've had to change up our entire game on how we try to find it, try to locate it. We're tossing cells regularly now. We're bringing canines in.
Cass County jail staff will soon be carrying Narcan.
Our other fear is if we have a deputy patting to somebody down and they come across a powder or they come across it, if they're exposed to it, they're gonna overdose within minutes.
While it's a tougher approach, those fighting it agree they can't arrest their way out of it.
We're dealing with a different threat here in our community, and that's why law enforcement is dealing with this threat in a different way.
Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
The U.S. Attorney wouldn't say if the 3 young men arrested were selling drugs in local schools. According to Facebook, at least one of them went to a West Fargo high school. And according to court documents, information from confidential informants led to the arrests.
Some tension within Moorhead leaders as 2 council members prevented the hiring of a consultant to assist in the search for a temporary city manager. Councilmember Mike Hewlett spoke out tonight against during a special meeting against the idea, saying the added salary, time to train the position, and price to hire a consultant are unnecessary for an interim city manager position. The consultant would cost more than $7,000, not including travel expenses for applicants. Hewlett says staff would be fine until an official city manager is hired to replace former city manager Mike Redlinger.
Are all perfectly capable of carrying out their duties and responsibilities until such time as we have the new city manager on board. There's absolutely no compelling reason to have to hire a temporary city manager.
5 council members voted yes, but there needed to be 6 votes to pass. Nancy Otto also voted no.
Valley News Live 10 at 10 continues with